Welcome to Happily Ever After, the podcast where we talk about life's big stories, from breakups and breakdowns to icky secrets and happy endings. It's the stuff that makes us human. I'm your host, Hannah Harvey. I'm a writer and a parenting blogger at mumsdays.com. I'd be really grateful if you could subscribe and leave a review because it basically means more people can find the podcast. And I also absolutely love hearing from you, so please do contact me through Instagram at mumsdays, MUMSDAYS, with any of your stories and any thoughts you might have on the episode or any questions. You can find all the details from this episode in the show notes. Hello and welcome to Happily Ever After. It's me, Hannah. We're back and I've brought Katie back. Hello.
Hi everybody.
Yes, we've had a little break.
We have.
It's exactly 2 months to the day since I was last in recording podcasts.
Yeah.
I know it's not in terms of when we actually had the last one come out, but yeah, 2 months off, and I can't say I feel like I've had a break.
No. I've also taken a break from my other stuff that I do for work as well, and I don't feel like I've had a break either, really. So
I feel like we're doing rest wrong.
Yep.
But we can cover that shortly. How's the last 2 months been?
Yeah, it's been okay. We've had Christmas, so that was a thing. That takes up loads of time and effort, doesn't it? So that's annoying, but nice, I guess. God, that's really negative.
I know, we were like, we need to come back in with like back to school, new year energy, and we're both like, oh God, I don't feel like I've had a rest.
I know, and I don't, but also I do feel a lot better than before the new year, because I prefer to just get all of that stuff out of the way, and then once it gets to January, it's getting lighter all the time outside, and we're approaching spring, and the snowdrops have come, and it's a good time of year actually, so I do feel okay about it. I just haven't had like an amazing 2 months off, shall we say.
Like we didn't go to a desert island and drink out of coconuts.
No.
And rest on a beach and read loads of books. But we had, my mum always says, like, a change is as good as a rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not, but
no.
you know.
But it's nice to be back.
It is lovely to be back. We've got some really exciting guests coming on.
Mm-hmm. We do.
So next week we've got Dr. Alka Patel, and I'm very excited about this because we're talking about burnout.
Yes.
Which is the reason I wanted a break in the first place. I was like, if I don't take a rest, I felt like something was going to snap in my head. Yeah. And if I'm honest, like coming back in a few days ago, I was like, oh, I still feel like that. So there's got to be something else. You can't just stop everything. Yeah. Like there needs to be something else. So I really feel very strongly that Dr. Alka can help us, because I know that she experienced severe burnout to the point where she was hospitalized, and she's completely transformed her life. Her biological age is 30 years younger than she is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, taking time out is clearly not the answer because I don't feel rested. So there must be something that we need to do consistently day to day that will make a difference to how we feel.
Yeah. I also think it's about how you spend your time, isn't it?
Yeah, like mindfully taking time off.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to understand how to rest.
Yeah.
And so do you, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Like, what is it I actually need to do?
Mm-hmm.
But like, because napping during the day just means that I'd sleep badly at night, that kind of thing. So that's not the solution.
Yeah, I feel like I spent 2 weeks watching This Morning, which was lovely. I enjoyed my
Did you enjoy
daytime.
That?
Yeah, I actually really did. But also, like, I feel like I could have done better stuff to make myself feel more nourished and well rested, and like taking care of my mind better during that time. You know, it wasn't exactly the most riveting of activities. And so I don't know whether it's actually really done me all that good.
Interesting. But you did also do something else during that time.
Did I?
Yeah, Katie. You got yourself a
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
job.
I did do that. Yeah, you're right. Forgotten about that. Yeah. That's
So left to your own devices, you just go off on one and get a job.
Yeah, you know what? When I was telling Natalie about this, she was like, well, this is what happens when I let you have holiday time.
That's exactly how I feel. That was the
yeah,
highest noise I've ever made.
it was good.
Really high pitched.
I liked it.
I mean, I'm thrilled for you, and I am really happy, and I hope
thank
that
you.
you have lots of fun, and it's what you wanted, and you feel settled. So you definitely have done stuff, and I think,
Yeah, it was it was intentional to do it then. But maybe, you know, taking a holiday so that you can look for a new job. Although that's not really what I did. They just happened to coincide. But it's not the most restful of activities, I suppose, is it, trying to find a new job?
going for an interview and things like that.
Yeah.
But the fact it happens so quickly and easily, in my mind, you know how I like a bit of universe shizzle.
Definitely.
I'm like, if it's easy and it flows, then it's right.
Yeah, and I shouldn't say this, I guess, because I'll curse it, but that I tend to have that sort of luck with things. If I'm like, right, okay, that's when I'm going to do it, put the good feelings out into the universe, then it does work for me.
Yeah, it's like you've given yourself permission to get that thing, because you did feel for a little while that you were maybe stuck in a certain role.
Definitely.
From a career point of view.
Yeah, this is really good for me because I guess like I'm going back into the business world, which is something I've been a little bit out of for a while. And I think it's going to be good for my self-esteem.
Yeah.
So yeah, like this is a good move for me.
Good.
Although I will miss deeply working with you, of course.
Of course. So yeah, Katie normally helps me produce a podcast, and so she can't do it anymore.
Yeah, but I'll still come on.
You could still come and talk to me.
Yeah.
Better do.
No, I will. Yeah. Need to update you with things.
Aww.
To everybody on the internet, not just you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There'll be people listening to this that were like, oh my God, Katie.
No, don't worry.
How will I know how her dating's going?
Yeah, you'll still get kept up to date with the minutiae of my life.
Good. So after Dr. Elka, we've then got, is it Next?
Yeah.
Talking about how to spot red flags in relationships, which is going to be amazing. So she's working with teenage girls and boys, I believe, but specifically girls, is the campaign to help educate people. Like, prevention is better than cure, right?
Definitely.
To avoid getting into abusive relationships. So that's cool. Because we spot red flags all over the place, don't we?
Yeah, and it's something that I'm trying to be much more mindful of, actually. I've been having a bit of a bad time in the dating world, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I've had some negative experiences that have like totally put me off it. So trusting my gut and knowing how to spot red flags is definitely something that I want to learn more about.
Yeah. And because I think I don't know whether it's a naivety or something's changed. But I do feel like I'm learning this stuff now as opposed to back in the day when it would have, I don't know, you just would have avoided some of the awful growing up stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I know. Well, like, it's all education that's like pretty essential, isn't it? That we just didn't have when we were kids. So
yeah, and I do still feel like there's a glamorized thing around having challenging relationships.
Yeah, definitely.
That's gotta hurt. All that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited to talk to her and the work that she's doing. So she's an ex-police officer as well. So she's got a huge background in basically aiding women when they're at crisis point.
Mm-hmm.
And for her, she wanted to go back to, the beginning and educate people that way, so I think that's awesome, and I'm looking forward to speaking to her. And then we've got Sophie on.
Yes, great.
And she's talking about, she's like a bit different to us, isn't she? She's there's lots of different attachment styles. Both you and I are more anxious.
I'm kind of both.
Are you anxious avoidant?
Yeah.
So I'm anxious, which means I'll go into a relationship and be like, please love me, I'll do whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm.
You're standoffish and anxious.
Yes.
So anxious avoidant. So you'll avoid people, but also want them to love you.
Yes.
And then Sophie is more of the, I guess, avoidant. I don't know if that's fair. It might just be she's got actual boundaries and she understands how to do relationships, but she took a long time between her previous relationship to finding the person that she's with now. So she's sort of talking about being comfortable being single, finding your identity, and then also how to honor that once you do find the right person.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how to continue to do all the things that you did for yourself as a single person once you've actually found the love of your life.
Yeah, which I think is really important.
Yeah. Which leads me nicely onto something I've been doing, actually, Katie.
Oh, yes, go on.
I've fallen in love.
Oh, how nice. Tell us about that.
Well, I can't say too much because he'll kill me, but we'll call him the fireman.
Great, yeah. Oh, I love how they've all got names. This is so wonderful.
But you know how we've talked about relationship ethics quite a few times.
Yes.
Claire Venus was the first person we talked to about it, so we'll dig out that episode in the show notes. And then I talked to Amber about being on a dating ban, so I decided that's what I needed to do. I need to take a break some old cycles, some of this anxious attachment style, focus on what I need. Bloody hell, it was fascinating. Being single was very uncomfortable and difficult for me. And it was very linked to my cycle. So I noticed that week before I ovulate, my body was like, you need male attention. Otherwise you don't count. And it's just basically your body being like, oh, you're meant to be getting pregnant.
Yes. Yeah, I find mine very cyclical's the word, isn't it? But my body doesn't necessarily, I don't have any concept of when I'm menstruating because I don't. So I never know what it's related to, but I'm definitely up and down in my neediness for men. Yeah.
It was fascinating to see that and observe it and be like, no, you don't. But yes, so I made friends with somebody organically through a shared interest of going in the sea. I don't know if I've mentioned it.
Yeah.
And we just started friending.
Which I think is great. Like, it's so nice to get to know somebody before there's any sort of romantic... I don't know, the word I want to use is stigma. Obviously romance isn't always stigmatized, is it? But like,
once you have made the declaration, there's a certain pattern you're meant to follow, I guess, of like, oh right, so now we're meant to kiss, and now we're meant to do this, and now we're meant to have sex, and it speeds everything up, which I think is where dating apps make it tricky, because you haven't got that time to get to know someone because you already feel under pressure.
Yeah, and it's like, we both know what we're here for. Like,
let's just snog already.
Yeah,
it's like,
let's find out if we like each other. Yeah, but that's the more important thing, to find out whether you like each other as friends first.
Yeah. So yeah, we had lots of nice walking dates and just hanging out. And at the time, I was like, I'm on a relationship ban. And then I just reached a point where I was like, oh, I don't need to anymore. This is just something I've imposed on myself. The rules of getting in the sea every day, the rule that I'm not going to date anyone. But I'd written out all my relationship ethics. So I was able to look back at them and be like, does is he what I was looking for?
Yeah.
And I'd specifically put, how will I know if I've met him? Like, how will I know? And I don't know if it's okay to say online, but basically I said, I'll tell you anyway. I said, I will feel safe and excited.
Yeah.
And I was like,
And
I
that's how
do
you
feel
felt.
like that.
Yeah. And was one of them must be firemen.
Well, do you know what's weird about that? Is I've talked about it in the fairy tale episode, but I had a fear of fire. Like a chronic fear of fire, to the point where in my head it was like an intrusive thought that I was going to get trapped in a fire with the kids and we wouldn't be able to get out and I wouldn't be able to save them. And I was like, oh, it's so fascinating that he's actually a fireman.
Yeah, it is. Although,
like metaphorically,
yeah,
he's obviously, never touch wood, never want to be stuck in any fires and him to have to save me. But from a place in my head, because the fire was only ever in my head,
yeah,
he can come and be the balm to that.
Great. Oh, how nice.
He's absolutely the best.
Oh, aren't we happy for her? How nice.
He's got a massive ginger dog. He's actually russet gold.
Right, yeah. I'm pleased you said dog.
Katie!
I know. Silly.
You're silly. So, yeah, interesting year to come. Lots of changes. And I feel like, obviously, the break we took has meant that loads of changes have come about.
Yeah.
I feel like they might not have happened if we hadn't taken time off.
No, I think you're right. And I don't know, I just feel like this is going to be a year of change a little bit. I kind of hate to fit into the yearly cycle like everything's meant to, like it's like you can start new things and you can change yourself anytime. It doesn't have to be January, but also it is a nice time to get a bit of a fire under to do that sort of stuff, isn't it?
I'm not there yet.
No.
I feel like I'm because of what I do now with all the yoga and the people that I hang out with, my cycle's much more tied to the Chinese New Year.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
And we're coming to the end of rabbit water year, which is lots of deep diving, going deep. Things are happening really fast, but it's tough. Like when you go deep in your own shadows, it's not fun. And there's been a lot of that. And now we're moving into dragon year.
Oh, nice.
And it was water, and now we're into wood, which is the energy of doing, being, getting on with stuff.
I like that.
And it's a dragon. Dragons are fierce.
Yeah.
As fuck.
Yeah, they are.
So we're going to have that energy behind us.
Yeah, I like that.
So I feel like I'm just wringing out the last of the things that needed to die. And, the last year was the year that my divorce finally came through.
Yeah.
So that ended. There was a few other big, horrible things that happened in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, process that. Now we're ready to sow the seeds. Wood energy is also spring, so it's like life is bursting.
Yes.
So this year could be pretty massive for everybody, and we're all going to be busy doing.
That's good. I like that energetic moving forward stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. If you felt stuck, this should be a time that we start to feel unstuck. But so Jambo's advice, Jambo who was on the podcast a while ago, Katie's writing all these things down, must link to Jambo. He was telling us about how you have to be careful when the energy is like this to make sure you stay grounded.
Yeah.
Don't get overwhelmed.
Yeah. And I bet it's easy to get ahead of yourself as well.
Or feel like everybody's doing, because everybody is going to be super busy. You need to stay in your lane. Stay focused on what's really important to you, and what you focus on is the thing that's going to explode. So if you're focusing on negatives, that's going to explode. Yeah. So for me, it's writing the book, making sure that my coaching package, so for like divorcees, people wanting to get into sobriety, that kind of thing, make sure that package is ready to go. And it should hopefully take off, but I need to not get distracted by shiny objects, which I'm prone to do. I'm like, I should be doing this and I should be doing that, but it's like, no, this is what I need to focus on this year. And if I do, that dragon energy should be epic.
Yes. Yeah. That's good.
And you're focusing on being a businesswoman.
I am, yeah. I know, it's sort of like I've sort of felt like I needed to do something about my work situation for a little while now. Actually, since I've been single, like I think I have a tendency in the back of my head, and we've talked about this before, to just think, well, maybe a man will come along and then finance won't be an issue anymore. But no, I've decided and I've never relied solely on a man's income either. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's not that big of a step for me to be prioritizing my financial needs. But that's what I've decided I'm going to do now. There's no thought in the back of my head going, well, maybe I'll just meet a man and be rich anyway. It's like, it's up to me now. And
stepping into queen
yeah,
energy.
Exactly. That's what I'm doing.
You've grieved your maiden, and now you're like doing it for yourself.
Yeah. And so like now, I feel like now that problem's kind of ticked off a little bit, it is making some space in my head to worry about other things, but
in a positive, proactive way.
No.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, no, I'm worried about romance and dating.
Are you?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I had a negative experience with dating before Christmas, and it's put me off going on the apps. It's put me off putting myself out there and making my how you say like you've got to make the universe aware that you're available. And put that kind of energy out there. Like, I don't want to do that at the minute. You don't need to do it
on the apps.
No, you don't. No, but I feel very closed off at the minute. It's made me feel a bit closed off.
And is that okay? Can you nurture
I guess
that?
it is fine. Yeah, I guess it is for now.
I'd be like, that's okay. I'm going to take some time to get set up in my new job and get my house the way that I want it. And
you're right. That is the focus.
You do not need a man.
No, I don't. Yeah,
and I bet he works with you anyway.
Do you think?
You're going to meet him through this job. I think that's why it's happened.
Maybe. We'll see.
It's going to be organic.
Yeah. Watch this space,
and orgasmic.
Everybody. Is it right?
Great. Oh, I think we've got to the end of my list.
Good.
Oh, no, the other one was, so we've spoken to Sophie and then we're going to speak to Dan.
Yes.
Dan's coming on to talk about his journey in recovery and how because a big thing about the book I'm writing is trying to work out, there's a lot around addiction, and I believe you can be addicted to lots of different things. Obviously, I've quit drinking, but I also think I was addicted to the drama within my old relationship. And then that pattern kind of continued on, and it was a bit of a sabotage for me. Yeah. Of searching for the massive highs and lows that you can get in relationships. Like, it's all worth it, the lows, because the highs are so incredible and so intense. When actually you don't have to live on a roller coaster, and it's not great for your body.
No.
But recognizing that is one thing, and then it's also understanding why the fuck you did it in the first place. Like, why am I searching for that? And I really resonated with Dan's story because he just is so honest about why he felt that he ended up drinking in the first place, and it's like filling this void of not being enough. And not feeling like you belong. And for him, it was, racial abuse and stuff like that sent him down a path that ended up, well, you'll hear the story. It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
But the amazing thing is he was at such a low and now he's recovering, and it has been for 5 years.
It's an amazing story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's that whole understanding why we do certain things that is really interesting to me at the moment. And hopefully this book will be finished soon.
Yay.
And then, yeah.
It's really good, everybody. You're in for a treat.
You've only read the first bit.
Well, yeah. But I liked it.
Thanks, Katie. So, yeah. Well, you are on the episode in a few weeks' time with Sophie.
I am, yes. I'm on that one too. Talking about dating.
Dating. And then I'll get you back in again soon, I hope.
Yeah, of course. Oh, don't be like that.
I'm so sad. No, honestly, thank you so much for everything you've done. This podcast wouldn't even be a podcast if it weren't for you, so...
Oh, well, it's been an absolute pleasure to be part of it. And I will continue on. You guys won't notice a difference, so don't worry.
They might when there's no podcast being put up.
Yeah, maybe.
No, it's going to be good. I'm excited for both of us.
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of developed a bit of a codependent relationship.
Definitely.
Where I was like, don't ever leave me. You're like, yes, I have to.
Yeah, no, I do now.
Okay, I'll manage.
Yeah, you
My
will.
inner maiden will cope.
It will.
Well, good luck.
Yeah,
We'll catch up
thank you.
soon.
Okay. Talk
Thanks,
soon.
Katie.
Bye.
Bye. All right then, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time for another episode of Happily Ever After with me, Hannah Harvey. It would be wonderful if you could leave a review and subscribe. And of course, if you have a friend who might enjoy this episode, please do pass it on. For anything else, you can get in touch with me either through Instagram @mumsdays or my website mumsdays.com.